No problem. I wondered what your. I'm saying. So we just added the speakers.
Oh, okay.
We'll call the meeting to order, and we'll ask to be led in prayer by Commissioner Tony Smith.
Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we want to thank Thee for another wonderful day. Lord, bless this group of people as we're here tonight to do the business for our county, where it's equal, fair for every resident in our county. Lord, bless the people that are sick, need your help, your hand to help them to recovery. Bless our troops that are fighting for our rights, our freedom, our current way of life that we have. In thy name we pray, amen.
All right, Commissioner Brothers is not with us tonight. All right, so everyone else is good. All right, first item is approval of the minutes from the April 23rd meeting.
Move to approve.
Second.
All right, motion second, vote for discussion or questions. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, now what about public comment? I didn't recognize anybody taking a form. Is there anybody public comment-wise wanted to speak? Okay, I don't hear none or see none. We're moving on to new business, solid waste. We're great for the speakers, so maybe you can hear us a little better.
Yeah. Our litter grants, $51,900 to Bedford County has been approved again this year for our upcoming fiscal year. This grant is actually administered through the highway department, but it pays for our litter crews to pick up trash along the county roads. This money is appropriated from the sale of soft drink and malt industry products, so it's not a cost to the county. The amount of money we received is based on the county population and county road miles. All 95 counties, Tennessee counties, do receive monies. We're grateful to receive this grant as the state of Tennessee spends $23 million to pick up litter. 28% of litter is intentionally just thrown out. The offense of criminal littering is littering in the amount of more than 5 pounds and less than 10 pounds. It's a Class B misdemeanor and $500 in fines if convicted. More than 10 pounds is a Class A misdemeanor, $2,500 in fines, court costs, and 160 hours of community service. Cigarette butts are the #1 litter item on earth. Coca-Cola, Nestle's, Pepsi-Cola, and Mars Incorporated are among the top global polluters. Most of this is from plastic bottles. TDOT has an online litter hotline call, and you can call 1-877-8-LITTER if you see someone that is actually littering, throwing things out on purpose. Be sure to tarp your loads of trash. It is a state law. And do your part to keep Bedford County clean. The inmates are picking up now. We're usually getting 5 to 6 inmates a week, every day during the week. So that is helping us get some of the roads caught back up. We're working on fiscal year-end figures for recycled materials. We've had calls on state roads for trash and county roads. And our household hazardous waste event is scheduled for September the 28th at the Ag Center from 8 to noon. So everyone save that date and bring your little chemicals that you can't get rid of any other way. For April, we had 11,471.11 recycling revenue, 79.48 tons. Our expense to the landfill was 38,534.89. with a total was an increase. Our tonnage was 1,068 tons. Any questions?
And I thought it'd be a good information for everyone to know.
Well, I wanted to
Our-
get out a little bit more information about the litter grant, what it covered, and then some of the polluters. And, make sure that if you do see someone out littering, you try and get a tag number or call the hotline number, anything to try and alleviate some of the trash that's getting thrown out.
And our litter crews, our 2 litter crews that we have inmates for, they pick up every single day in excess of 225 bags a day. From roads they pick up from every day.
Now, we're doing county roads. The state has a program for state highways.
Yeah, just county roads.
Right. Okay. All right. Any other questions or comments regarding solid waste report? All right. Thank you. Thank you for that. HR?
Good afternoon. You all have your report from my office within your packet. You can see there's still very low onboarding, which is a good thing, which means we're retaining a lot, not as much turnover. And then the resignations, again, still pretty low. Job postings, of course, we talk about those continuously, but we have filled recent positions as probation officer, public health office assistant, juvenile detention, 2 additional corrections officers. And then also we have an offer extended for the firefighter position and the part-time veterans office assistant. We had a very positive response. We have over 50 applications for that one part-time position, and we have interviews scheduled for that I will be assisting Benjamin in the veterans office with on Thursday. So that's moving along, and we're looking to interview 6 individuals for that one position. So we were excited about the interest in that. Again, you can see my active and ongoing HR projects. They're always on here, but I'm constantly updating policy, developing policy. Unfortunately, having to track FMLA just because those things happen. Life happens sometimes. Workers' comp, those kinds of things. I did participate in a required 4-hour Title VI training. So multiple state departments, it sounds like I talk about Title VI and Title VII quite often. It's because I do. There's not one consistent certification. Each one of those departments that we are afforded an opportunity for grants requires their own separate Title VI training. So that being said, the one for mental health services, health department, I participated and received my certification in that last Thursday for 4 hours. So I've also attended the State Insurance Board meeting where I'm the representative for the Tennessee County Services Association last week. And I attend those monthly and have scheduled professional development training in Nashville with CTAS at no cost coming up this fall. Any questions?
All right. Thank you for your report.
Thank
Next is archives.
We've had another busy month at the archives with various people coming in. There's been a great deal of distress for folks who need their official IDs with their divorces of the past and or marriages for driver's license and those other official records that are needed. There's been several this month. We've been doing a lot of the typical things with the cemeteries again. I know you all like to hear, I put in there our stumper of the month that we couldn't find anything on was the oldest trees in the county. So someone wanted to know, there is actually a program out there for legacy trees. And if you have a tree that you think is 200, 300 years old, they will register those at the state, but we don't have one here at the county level. And so we had to give up on that one and send them to Mr. Carney out at Forestry. And I think he got us a little stumped as well for here in the county. But those are the kind of things we never know what day we're going to get an interesting subject of the day. My favorite one that we had two in the same month, that's kind of the way it happens. We had two requests for the music industry in Bedford County. Are you all aware we had an instrument company in the county? In the 60s, we had Solar Music Instrument Company. And they started with drums and other music instruments. And then Mr. Gallagher's not here, but his father got his start making guitars with Solar Music Instrument Company out there in the new industrial park at that time out Blue Ribbon. So there's always something, and like I said, it wasn't even Mr. Gallagher that asked the questions, to other people totally. So it's all of those kind of things, and we're continuing on our proper disposal of long-term records, maintaining the preservation of the permanent records that we have for this year. And we've had several volunteers. We had TCAT this last month in April. This month we're coming up with several for community hour service and things like that. We've had a lot of tours come through for the summer, and we'll have more. We're expecting a pretty good group from East Side in the morning, Thursday morning. And I'm proud that I've mentioned it before, but Catherine Hopkins has finished Tennessee Archives Institute that's offered by the state level, state archives. So she has that certification, and that's a good thing. And we are finishing up our state library and archives grant, $5,000 grant for equipment. Any questions?
Okay, thank you. Our owner rep.
So I know we have a big report. Cartwright is still on schedule. We will be handing keys over to the school system on June the 10th. We have received temporary COs and fire marshal approval. Health department has approved the kitchen. All appliances are currently in. And we've had several people tour the school in the last couple of weeks. Josh was out there, was nice enough to put pictures on his website, and gotten a lot of good feedback from that. On the Cascade High School, this date has changed. We were doing testing on the 4th. I found out today that all the attorneys were not able to be there, so it's been moved to the 10th of June. So that's an ongoing matter. School board and Superintendent Garrett approved for a $150,000 budget on the concession stand, and we have the architects working on those drawings currently. Thomas Elementary and Liberty are currently under construction. We will be digging footings on Thursday at Thomas, and we have started mobilization at Liberty after the commission approved that funding. All permits have been given by the county, and the project is underway. The ag projects are currently being drawn by the architects for Community and Cascade, and we hope to have those drawings the middle of July so we can start bidding those projects out. We've talked about the option property next to Cartwright. The annex addition for classroom has been completed and approved, and we have a certificate of completion on it. The kitchen, ceiling, and light fixtures went in today. Everything through the roof has been completed, and we will start laying tile on that project the 30th of this month. I met with the architects last week. We went through about 8 schools to design vestibules for security for all those schools. We also have been building awnings for the high school and middle school and elementary schools for the kids to have protection from the weather. Those have already begun construction. We got approval to start the master plan for phase 1 at Community High School. That process is underway. That will include the survey, the topo, the geotech, and engineering. And then we have multiple school projects that have been approved for us to start working on, including playgrounds, HVAC changes, bleachers, gym floors. All those are beginning the bid process. And then we have the health department. We started replacing cabinets today through a $150,000 grant that they received from the state. That $150,000 was originally designed to only do about 4 of the rooms in the health department. We were able to get bids in and pricing to do all of the rooms in the health department with stainless steel stop. So we plan to have those finished by the end of June for their grant. We also completed the first phase of the concrete replacement at the ambulance service out by the airport, and that's been completed, and they're doing the demo on the back phase. We had bids between 128 and 135. When we originally bid that out, we were able to get the project done for $55,000.
Mr. Yaki.
So, Jeff, back to the health department. As you go back in there, that middle section, there was like a lab area. Do you remember all that? Has that been wiped out?
Yeah, the state has come in and said we cannot have any wood in the visitation exam area, so those are all being replaced today. We started with the first 4. They're still over there working. Stainless steel tops will go in a couple of weeks.
Dr. Garrett, did you have something specific or anything that you wanted to follow up? A lot of these are school projects. So.
No, I just appreciate the work that you've done on this, and got a lot of great things going on in the school system. We appreciate the commission's support and the finance committee.
Okay. Any other questions or comments?
Really glad to see those silent reports going in, those safety vestibules for the schools. What people don't know what that is, when they come into the school, they can't go any farther until they're led into the second door. So most of the schools didn't have that. So good deal on doing that.
I think there are 8, right? 8 that
8.
do not have those, and it's a huge safety
Almost
issue.
all of them, I know.
Good deal.
Commissioner Neal.
Yes, ma'am. I don't have the exact number. So we didn't add anything to it. We didn't add anything to the contingency. Once we sign a contract, that's the contingency is what it is. So when we do a GMP contract, guaranteed maximum price, they start off, there's several phases. So we have the design phase, which there's a larger contingency. After they go through the design, we do all the value engineering, and then we do the construction contract. And that's where their bids come in. They give us a guaranteed maximum price it cannot exceed. In that number, they have a contingency.
I'm thinking it was 746,000.
Yeah, it was 700 and some change.
And then the design was 125.
So you
If I
have an
re-
architectural contingency and a construction contingency. So if the architect missed something, we have contingency in there just for the architect, which is not in the construction.
Is that what you were asking, Diane? I think it was 740.
There's a difference between I don't know of any GMP contract ever done in Bedford County. I'm not saying there weren't. I know Cascade wasn't. I know Learning Way wasn't. So the contingency is what we agree to. We don't allow them just to come up with a number. So it's usually 2% is pretty standard for contingency. And then we have to approve what that contingency can be used for. Right. So the original contingency was 700 and change. I'll have to go back and read the contract. 740. Yes, a portion of it is. So we're at $1.7 million right now. Let's say $1.790, I believe, is our savings today. And then in that contingency, there's a split. So we got 70, they got 30. Yeah. So 70. So you would take 70% of that, which would be $490,000. That would be our portion.
Okay. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Next item is monthly reports.
You've got your monthly financial report. There is a page I passed out because our copier apparently ate the debt service fund page 11. So if you look at the report, you'll see on page 1, we have collected 93% of our budgeted revenues in the general fund. Page 3, we've actually expended 72.9% so far. Page 4 is your drug control fund, and that's, we've collected 113%, and we've only spent 20%. The next one is page 5. This is highway. We have collected 63%, and we've expended 96%. 141 is the school general purpose fund. We have collected 87% and expended 69%. And the reason that's lower is because we have 4 extra payrolls in the month of June, so we have to allow for that. So it's not unusual to see it a lot lower than revenue. 142, we have collected 44% and expended 53%. This is based on grants, and it varies all through the year, so we adjust it continuously. But we're not going to expend more than we take in. 143 is child nutrition. We've collected 79% and expended 87%. And a part of that is because they have purchase orders out for food, and we will be clearing those up soon. 146, school age care. We've collected 69% and expended 69%. And that is a self-funded fund, actually. They get it from their revenues, from child care. 151, we have collected 97% of budget revenues and expended 77%. And 177 is education capital projects, and it's pretty balanced at 82% each. And the last page is 178 courthouse capital projects, and that one's pretty balanced too. We've collected 68% and expended 61%. So that's an update on your monthly financial. Now if we can go to collection of taxes, you'll see on page 1, we are 25,000 ahead of the same time last year in collections. Now, this is not a comparison to budget, it's just comparing year to year. Second half of that, prior year property tax collections, we have exceeded last year by 22,000. Page 2, clerk and master collections are down, less than 48,000 less than the same time last year. Sales tax collections are 65,000 ahead of the same time last year. And the last page is mineral severance. And so far, we're 14,000 ahead of the same time last year, almost 15, and we still have a June payment to come in. So last is the analysis of expenditures. And we look at things like travel. Anything in red is above the average. And that depends sometimes on when we have the travel. A lot of times it's in the first part of the year. But if it is in red, we will have a budget amendment in our cleanup budget amendment to adjust for that. The second page is showing same thing as the continuation of travel. And then if you get down to page 3, you'll see electricity. Overall, we're 69% used. As far as natural gas, we're at 65%. Food supplies, 101%. Some of that's going to go down because of purchase orders being cleared out. Last page, maintenance of vehicles, we're at 90%, which is above the average. But as these vehicles get older, we're going to have more cost as far as maintenance. Diesel, we're at 70% for the year. Gasoline, 89%. And legal services, 162%. That'll be part of our year-end cleanup because of the lawsuit with the city is running that up. That's my report.
All right, question regarding that? All right, so we're on to other reports, to EMS.
Only got a few things to add to the reports you guys already have. We received a opioid grant of a little over $46,000 last month. We've also got an EMT class graduating again June 7th. We're working on closing out the end of the year just like everybody else. We also received an award from NAEMT for mental health training, so we should be sending somebody for that training coming up. Also, I'd like to thank all our employees. You know, through all these storms that we've had, even if they aren't terrible here, they're still on alert and come in and work everything. So that's I want to thank them. But that's all I have in addition to the reports. And if anybody has any questions on the reports, I'll be glad to answer them.
What are you using opioid grant for?
This particular grant is going to be used partially for training, for public training, and the other portion is going to be used for new narcotics safes in our ambulances.
Any other questions? Brian Bruce, just celebrating 30 years at Bedford EMS, the
He
whole
did.
30 years there. That's pretty impressive.
I think that's the only one that we can trace so far that's retired from EMS, or at least got their 30 years in. He's not planning on retiring just right away, but it's a big accomplishment, and we're proud of it.
It's huge.
Yeah,
It
so
is.
just, well, and spend it all at Bedford, because a lot of us have jumped around. We got more than 30 years, but not all at Bedford EMS. So
20 back
Pete
surgeries
George,
either.
one of the original
He
EMTs,
was the original.
got here and he didn't make 30. He had left and come back, and I believe he was somewhere in the 20-plus range. So to get 30 consecutive right here at Bedford EMS is probably something we won't see again, and it certainly speaks volumes to the employees' dedication to stay right here and get up every day. You think about all the holidays you miss because of public safety, and he's done it right here in Bedford, so we're grateful for that. All right, any other? All right, so we need a motion to approve reports. Okay. Motion to approve reports.
Move to
moved.
approve.
Second.
All right, got motion second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Next item was school age care program write-offs.
Okay, these are write-offs from the SACP program, and the auditors have requested that we write these off. They're uncollectible. They've gone for several years, so this is a cleaning up the books.
It's a lot. What's the total on it?
Should be the back.
$27,781 total. It's on the back page.
Does the school board look at this as well?
They did. This was a requirement of the auditors. It has gone back for several years. It's never a practice that's been done, and it's something they wanted us to clean up. Some of these students have graduated a long time ago, but we promised we'd get these cleaned up, so I would make a motion to approve these write-offs.
Second.
All right, motion second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Next is, oh, to go to the commission. You accept that as part of your motion? For it to go on to the
Yes.
commission. You accept that, right? So we're all in favor. County building and codes write-off.
You have a copy of the request from Amy Peterson about writing off codes.
Why are these uncollected?
It's on the letter here, but Amy is here and she can explain that, actually.
You okay if she comes up? Talk. I'm not sure the status while she gets up here, but I do know from EMS that we can't just adjust things in the system, so it's got to go through the body, and we'll see what she says, the reason.
The reason they're uncollectible is it's a different type of tax. It's a privilege tax, which has a 6-year statute of limitations on a privilege tax. And so, see by the dates on those two, they're both with the same people, the Woodruffs. They were from 2013 and 2016. And by the time they got around to me finding them, that they weren't paid, it was too late to collect them.
This shouldn't happen again.
No, it should not. So I inherited these when
Exactly.
I started the department 2 years ago, and we're cleaning that up. We've sent about 8 files to collections, and these were the 2 of the oldest that are uncollectible. The others have gone through the collection process and are being collected.
So there's a statute of limitations, there is no recourse.
Correct. Now, as long as we file against them within that 6 years, then that lasts 10 years.
We'll do in the future.
Correct.
Exactly.
This is probably the manual system whenever we used to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would say that that's pretty old, and they just fell through the cracks somehow, and that's what.
Did we attempt? So we made attempts to
We
collect
met,
these?
I went to court with it, and
Okay.
I believe I noted in the letter, they had the attorney that cited the rule that they didn't have to pay.
Thank you for explaining that. A lot of people don't know that. I've dealt with this in the past.
Yeah.
My other life and stuff, so I just want to make sure that's put on record.
Yeah, we
Why
make,
you took collect?
yeah, and we make every attempt to not send it to collections. It gets pretty costly on the taxpayer side. I mean, we try to get them to pay without going that process, but sometimes they just refuse.
Legal fees are almost more
So we need a motion to send to the commission.
Second.
All right, motion is second. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Next is surplus property from Board of Education.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion is second. Any comments or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Fire Department Equipment Grant. Skip some. The motion was for this to go to the commission. Surplus, go to the commission for final disposition.
This is equipment and training grant.
Yeah, now, next item is grant. We was just clarifying that the surplus was going to commission. I didn't get it in the motion, correct?
Yeah, I know, but on the fire department, when
Yeah,
it's.
fire department,
it's
this is equipment.
Equipment and training, right.
Grant.
Am I looking at the
Yeah,
right
so
one?
Robert can, and Mark's here, if you want him to come up and speak to this, that might be appropriate if you guys are okay with that. His team hustled around, and got us another opportunity.
About how many hours does this cover of the training? Give or take. Of any training?
Grant,
Mhm.
this grant is for the equipment. We got this from the state. It's separate from the federal grant. The federal grant that
Okay.
we got,
The
didn't
service
allow us-
caption
Yeah.
said equipment and training grant program, meaning, assuming that means you could have applied for either purpose, but we've got it for
Yes.
I
equipment,
got
not
you.
training.
Yes. That's
Okay,
correct.
okay.
now what we intend, if we can get this money approved, what we intend to do is buy additional air pack equipment that the federal government wouldn't let us buy on that level to get us back to where we were when we got the new stuff. They wouldn't let us replace all of our old equipment. And it will, hopefully, we can get some training to do field work on the new stuff that we've got, instead of having to send it to a shop.
No cost share,
No, it's
100% paid for by the state.
We're trying to get it in before the year end.
Yeah.
That's why he brought it as an amendment.
So if this body is good with this, this needs to go to the regular commission meeting, not the special call meeting, so that it can be acted on in the June regular commission meeting.
Make that motion.
Understand what we're talking about? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So I want to, if you're okay, I'm going to skip the budgets here for just a minute because we're not quite there. And we'll go down to other business and then announcements. So we have other business? Commissioner Tony Smith.
Yes, Commissioner Vick and I presented last week to the committee requesting a parking place for our veterans. And I was in the hayfield, didn't get to go, but after I heard the verbiage, it kind of lit a fire under me. It brought back every bad memory that I had when I was in service. January of 1968, when I returned home to Bedford County from Vietnam, I was one of the lucky ones. All the rest of the lucky ones that came home with me were exactly like me. We got treated worse than dog poop, folks. It was terrible, and it's still terrible. And last week brought every bit of this back in my memory. Now, a few years ago, our county commission voted to refurbish the courthouse, the parking around it, reline it, and everything. I was one of the commissioners that voted to do it. When we did this, we accidentally left off the parking place for our veterans. Folks, we have disrespected them, we have disgraced them, and it's bad. Now, what we need to do is restore their parking place. And I'll suggest putting it over in front of the statue for our veterans, where the bricks are and the benches are, because if you're a veteran, you walk across those bricks, you look down and see all the names. You may have been in a bunker with one, you may have been in a foxhole with one, or you just may have served somewhere with one, but it gives you a warm feeling. I feel that that would be a good place for this parking place. Also, I would like to propose a handicap parking place. We have numerous veterans that are handicapped in wheelchairs, on crutches. Folks, right now, they have no access at all to get into the courthouse. This is another disgrace to our veterans. This is something that should have been done many years ago. Now, I would like, tonight, I'm going to present a motion for our committee to move forward on this, and we'll go from there, but this is something that needs doing immediately. We don't need to wait. Our veterans, folks, they are the people that put their lives on the line for every one of your rights and freedoms that you have today. The least we can do is show them some honor and respect. Now, if we do these parking places, that will be the very, very least that we can do to show that we care. And at this time, I was going to present to Commissioner Farrell, but he's not here, if we needed to send this back to committee for their blessings, or if he wanted to or what. But since he's not here, I'm just going to put it in the motion for our committee. And I'd like to make a motion for the one parking place that we need to restore, go in front of the statue down there, the monument, and the other, take one of the two parking places on the southeast corner of the square where the access ramp is, change the sign from handicap to handicap veterans, Monday through Friday, 8 till 4. Now, I would like to make this motion, and we'll go from here. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Is there a second? Okay, Commissioner Yaki seconds that. Open for discussion.
Did you go over what the rules to get this done? Can we do
The-
that tonight? Where does it
The
go?
Rules Committee, Commissioner Vick, and I think he's in the audience, if you want to bring him up. He can tell you, he had put something before the Rules Committee, and they deferred? Is that what I recall happened there? Let him speak to that.
As a member of the Rules Committee, I presented as a resolution. Chairman Fair didn't want to do a resolution, and he wanted to mark up the statting of that. I'm not certain exactly where he wanted to go, but he did want to have the Courthouse and Property Committee look at it. He wanted to have the city look at it. He wanted to have merchants look at it. So I'm not certain exactly what Commissioner Fair, and he could speak better than I could to it. I was just an attendee. So I think that we have involved the veterans. I think the veterans officer was there. The veterans officer endorsed the plan. We spoke to him about that. And that's kind of the status as I know it right now from the Rules Committee.
Okay, does that answer your question?
Is that something that you can do as county mayor, or it has to go in front of a committee?
The commission ultimately needs to endorse that.
Okay.
And that's, so they went to the Rules Committee. It's gotten tied up there, at least for now. And I think Commissioner Tony Smith, if I'm listening to him correctly, is basically saying that we shouldn't wait on that. We should move forward. So he made the motion to send the request to establish the parking spots with a second by Commissioner Yaki to go on to the commission for an up or down vote at the next commission meeting. Am I speaking correctly? Your head's bobbing, but yes?
Yes.
Okay. So the motion and the second on the floor is to go on to the commission with the request to add the two parking spots. One to be a straight veterans parking spot, and the other one to be a veterans handicap parking. Is that what you said?
Right.
All right.
And funds will have to be utilized to put signs up, get signs made, and mark them off or anything like that. So funds are gonna have to be done, we need to get prices before it goes to commission.
If this does not pass the commission, I will pay for the darn signs myself. I would hate to see property taxes raised over 2 signs for our veterans.
I'm with you.
Oh, Commissioner, yeah, please come to the mic. Commissioner Hooker.
Thank you. And I don't want to speak for Commissioner Fair, but basically what I got out of that is he just wanted to ask the questions about who had the authority over those particular parking spaces or those type things when it came to city or county. I don't think anybody disagrees with this, and the concerns that I had, or the questions that I had, was that I just thought it should go through courthouse and property, because it's at the courthouse, and it's property of the courthouse. The thing is this don't have any real financial burden other than coming out of the courthouse funds that we already have that appropriated for. So I think the appropriate measure would be to allow either the Rules Committee, if we have any concern as to the actual process, I think it needs to go to Rules, but really, I thought it should be at Courthouse and Property. Commissioner, I think that everybody will approve this. I think that there's no concern about it. I think this just goes back to the same issues we had last month, process, doing the right process and going in the right committees. Now, the resolution, I know that Commissioner Fair had a concern that we shouldn't be writing a resolution anytime that we want to make a decision. The thing is this should have been a simple request. We look at it, we ask the questions, we research it, and then we move forward with it. That's the process. I would ultimately see that Commissioner Fair would move this forward pretty quickly as he gets the right information. But again, it was presented. He needed to get a little bit of information, and again, we can move that forward. But again, I think if this body takes this up, I think you're doing the exact same thing you did last month, which is moving something forward that you do not technically have the authority based on our rules. This is a standing committee, but in all reality, this is something that needs to go either through rules or Courthouse and Property, and that's because of the actual material in which it is. This is not a financial request. This is a physical property request. Thank you.
So we have motion second on the floor.
I'm
I
sorry,
think-
I have another question.
Yes, ma'am.
Is it, remind me why it's coming through the Finance Committee? I definitely want them to have a parking space. I don't want you to think, but just, I want to make sure I'm voting on something I'm allowed to vote on. Remind me of why it's coming to the Finance Committee.
Well, I don't know. I just brought this up because it is a very sore spot to me because I am a veteran. And it, like I say, it brought back bad memories to me. And the veterans already had a parking place. The commission took it away and it accidentally didn't get put back up. We aren't asking for a new parking place for them. We are restoring something they already had. So,
I would just think if it was a mistake, it was there and it was a mistake, that the mayor should be able to fix the mistake. But I don't know.
I'm sort of like you. That seems like to me it's a daily activity deal. But you're saying, Chad, you can't just say Mark gets these two signs and we'll put them up?
Well, I think what the situation at hand is because it went to committee. I think if they had just come to me and asked about it, we could have figured out what the situation was, but it's gone to committee. So in my opinion, committee or somebody, ultimately the commission, the committees are all bodies of the commission. But now that the committee's been invoked, I think it goes before the commission before I act.
I don't disagree that it needs to support the committee. That's the reason I was gonna ask Commissioner Farah tonight what his thoughts was on it, and I was gonna include it in my motion. But the way I look at it also, the longer we put this off, the more we are disrespecting our veterans. And folks, that is a darn shame. That's all I have to say.
Commissioner Scott
Let me
Johnson.
make a suggestion here. I think Commissioner Smith's concern is the timing and the delay. I understand that. I do get that. I think that if we move forward tonight to do this, if the other committees want to do something different, they can make a proposal, bring it to the commission. We can change whatever we're going to do. But this is a timing issue for Commissioner Smith. Thank you for your service in Vietnam. I understand what you're saying, and I say we move forward. But if another committee wants to come with another solution, then certainly we entertain that. We can vote on that at a later date, no problem.
But you understand the motion on the floor is to go to the commission for an
I do.
up or down vote?
I do.
All right. All right. All in favor?
Now,
Anybody opposed?
No.
Okay. All ayes, one no. Okay. All right. Announcements. We're about to be at 5 o'clock, so we can go ahead and do announcements, and then we'll be ready by 5 to actually start the budget discussions. I had the special call meeting June the 27th at 7 o'clock. The regular commission meeting is June the, whatever it was, second Tuesday. June the 11th is the regular commission meeting, and then June the 27th will be the special call meeting.
I have a couple announcements.
All right.
In the 5th District. Normandy is this Saturday. I've got 2 o'clock. I worry about that time, but at least tomorrow, at least this Saturday, Normandy's restoring their gas pump down on the square. And so they're calling it a gas pump opening. And then 2 weeks, June 8th is the Ross Ice Cream Supper. So we need your money.
Coming right up, June 8th.
June 8th is the ice cream supper. First is Normandy.
Come early.
Okay, any other announcements? Okay, hearing none, we're 5 o'clock, so we didn't have to recess, so we'll go back up to number K, which is the 24-25 budget. And we have the books for commissioners that are here, if you hadn't gotten your book. And Finance Director will go over the analysis of how we've got it currently bundled or structured for you. We're glad to say we certainly have a path without any kind of tax rate adjustment upward, so that's always a good thing. And we certainly look like we have the ability to give cost of living as well as step raises to the employees, which is important.
Okay, I'm going to go through the summary. If you look at tab 1, look over, you'll see the budget request highlights. The budget includes an annual step for full-time employees and a 4% cost of living adjustment. Same as schools, includes salary for elected officials per the state minimum schedules. And the judge is 4.1%, other elected officials are 5%. Nonprofits, all presented as requested, reflecting an increase of $27,565 in the total budget. The election budget includes the cost for 2 employees. Planning budget includes additional employee, related benefits, a computer, a plotter at $8,000, increased cost in postage and software. The codes budget number 4 includes an additional employee, related benefits, reclassification of 1 employee, and 2 rotation replacement vehicles. Number 5, county buildings budget includes architect fees for schematic design for the fire hall of $75,000, a service van for maintenance of $25,000, miscellaneous tools, power tools, small hand tools, $5,300, a $100,000 estimate for bell tower renovation, and this is to be paid from the courthouse renovation fund, which is a restricted fund, and that's all it can be used for, courthouse renovation and jail renovation. The finance budget includes 2 positions plus related benefits. One of these is funded by the schools. The one funded by the schools is a position to train the school bookkeepers and help them in accounting procedures. And it includes related benefits. There's a server replacement of $9,000, fixed asset software upgrade of $7,800. The property assessor budget includes a new position plus related benefits. The county clerk's budget includes $16,000 additional part-time funds paid with restricted revenues collected in the clerk's office, no cost to the county.
Skip trustee. Go back to 8.
Oh, I'm sorry, I skipped trustee. Trustee's budget includes part-time to full-time position plus related benefits. And back to number 10, IT budget includes necessary software for email and MFA, multi-factor authentication as required by insurance. A lot of our grants now want cyber insurance, and in order to get cyber insurance, we've got to have MFA. So it's a necessary cost. Number 11 on the next page, sheriff's budget includes funding for a new SRO at Cartwright with matching revenue from the state and 1 new employee for grants dispatch plus related benefits. 2 cars, $136,000. We added $18,360 to contracted services for year 3 of the Motorola body cam contract, not originally reflected in the sheriff's request. Number 12, the EMA budget includes a $1,000 increase in building repairs, $1,100 increase in utilities, $100,000 requested increase in equipment for the TACAN system. Number 13, the fire department includes an $1,800 increase in communications costs, increase in fuel of $2,000, $1,000 increase in uniforms, $1,000 increase in office supplies, $55,000 to replace worn-out medical unit truck, $124,200 in grant match. Not included in this is the request for $90,000 volunteer firefighter pay and 6 additional firefighters and the TCRS contributions for volunteers. That's a retirement. Number 14, animal control includes a part-time to full-time position. with related benefits. 3,000 increase for vehicle repairs, 13,000 increase to replace and repair A-side kennels. 15, the EMS budget includes the annual budget for a remount, as well as a rotational replacement of responder vehicle. 16 is the solid waste budget, includes 50,000 decrease in fuel, 2,750 increase in utilities, 14,500 in other charges, 5,000 increase in equipment. 17 is miscellaneous. The budget includes increases in the annual audit fee, autopsy fees, workers' comp, building contents insurance. We're expecting all insurance to go up about 15%. 18, the budget includes the mayor's request of $100,000 for elderly low-income tax relief program. So that's the highlights of the general purpose budget. The next one is the highway budget, 131. This includes an annual step and a 4% cost of living adjustment. It includes a salary for the elected official per the state minimum schedule. And the next section is the 178 Capital Projects Fund. We have budgeted for fire, $485,000 for an engine, $20,000 pack and radios for the engine. And 2 is the ARP projects. We have $538,874 remaining from the broadband project. It was originally $700,000. We have $60,742 remaining on the waterline project, $200,000 industrial park sewer water match, $201,800 as the TDEC grant match, and the last part is $664,750 remaining industrial road development project. The original estimate on that was $750. So that's the highlights of the budgets and the school budget. If you'll turn over to tab 10, this is the highlights of the school budget. I'm going to defer to Dr. Garrett here so she can go through these with you.
Okay. On our school budget, we have a 4% raise for all employees, and also their step increases. We have 2 new teachers at Thomas, that's so we can add the 8th grade there, so it will be K-8. We have an opening at Cartwright, so that cost about $2.5 million for the staff, the new staff, and we had about 11 transfer from Eastside and Aiken, so that's not included. Those were transfers, but that's an addition because they don't come in neat little 25 student packages. So you have to have new employees. We also, 2 of our big focuses on our budget will be special education services and also ELL services. So the state said we had to hire more ELL teachers. So we will look, we've actually found enough so far to hire 9 of those. We still are not at the 1-to-35 ratio, but we hope to get there. We are also increasing the allocation for the schools by $2.91 for each student. We are having 5 additional bus drivers that will help us cover Cartwright. If you recall, we had a grant for career coaches. The second year of that required a 33% match. So we will do that as well. As we continue to grow, we need another HR clerk. The property and workman's comp insurance is going up 15%. And you can see at the bottom the number of positions for Cartwright specifically listed for you as well. And those are the increases over last year's budget.
Okay, back to the budget. All the budgets have no property tax increase, but we did reevaluate what a penny would bring, and it's now $130,000 versus $129 last year. And I've got a worksheet that I'll tell you about in just a minute. But tab 1 is the general fund budget, and at the back of tab 1, you'll see the request from the nonprofits. And you can see a comparison on that very last sheet of tab 1.
I'm sorry, I've got lost. Where are you at now?
Tab 1,
Yeah,
The very last
Okay.
page of tab 1.
very last page.
okay.
So you've got the general fund budget, and then you've got the last page, which is the nonprofit request. And those requests are what's in this budget. You with me now?
I am now, but
Okay, just want to make sure.
but it went from one thing to the other thing, and I didn't know where we was at right here.
She was just doing the highlights.
Yes.
Now,
Okay.
Robert, on ours, We got extra funding from the state, so it does not, we're not requesting any additional funds from the county.
Okay, so the second tab is the drug control fund, and this is from fines for drug control, and that's what supports that fund, and it's really a very small fund. And tab 3 is the highway department, and he also is not requesting a tax increase, and the tax rate remains the same for that one. And that is 9 cents on highway.
Correct.
So just so people know. Okay, tab 4 is the general debt service fund. This is where we have to pay all of our debt. The state requires one thing in a budget: we pay our debt. So that's the most important thing. There's no increase here in the what a penny is. It's the same as the rest of the funds. And last, page 5 or tab 5 is the budget for E911. Now, this is not a budget you really vote on. It's just for informational purposes. Okay, tab 6 is all the budget requests from the county. And I think most of you have gotten that when we did the budget hearings. It's the same information that's just put in there to support it. Okay, tab 7. And cost is 6.36. That's what we have to match. And insurance premiums, we do not know at this time. We normally don't get those until later in the month. So we don't have a full estimate yet. I think Shanna just went to a meeting and heard some of that, but we have not received anything official yet. Okay, tab 8 is a schedule that shows the minimum salaries for elected officials, and it shows how we've computed those and the handwriting on there. And then, sure.
On that first sentence where it says the annualized general increase tied to the increase in state employee compensation shall not exceed 5% in any given year. But anywhere in the state requirement for rules that elected officials to meet this minimum salary, is it required to give them any raise?
You're required to give them the minimum, but you can give more if you want to.
You're saying we have to give them 5% whenever, because what I'm reading is we shall not go over 5%.
Well, they're saying that the minimum has gone up 5%. That's what they're saying. Now, like I said, you can give more than that if you want to, but that's the minimum we have to give, and a lot of counties just go for the minimum. Sure. Yes, we have to by law. Okay, next one, tab 9. This is the debt schedule of outstanding debt, and we also showed you a color chart behind that that shows when debt drops off. And you can see in 2037, there's a major drop in debt. It's about $3 million, I believe. And I know it is on the school side. I'm not sure about the county side, but anyway, you can see the chart there. That's just kind of giving you an idea of where we're at. Tab 10 is the school budget. This is the general purpose school fund. Tab 11 is school revenue projections, and this is the TISA money. This shows how we got the number that goes into the budget document. It's over on about the third page, or fourth page. This is the April estimate. Now, we'll probably get another estimate, but we use this one in the budget, and it's probably not going to change a lot. It'll change a little bit, maybe. Tab 12. This is showing the school board allocations. This was more for the school board side, but we included it in here. It shows how much they give to each location as far as schools. And this is in equipment, BEP teacher, fee waivers, capital money to each school. Tab 12 is the insurance premiums of school.
Yes, sir.
Tab 12.
Okay, I got it open myself.
Okay, and this is the different premiums that the school offers. The county has the same type setup, but it's called the government plan. This is called the teacher plan, and we do not have the rates yet on the government plan. Oh, I'm sorry, I said 12, 13 is the tab. insurance.
Yeah.
My fault. I don't give them a major award now. Okay, tab 14 is all the policies that are related to financial management. We've got the policy in there. We've got spending prioritization policy. We got the debts policy in there. And that's just for your information. And the last part, tab 15, is the calculation of the tax rate of the penny. And you can see the assessments and how we came up with it. At the bottom of that first page, it says 130,699. We rounded it to 130 even, because we typically do that. And we have had to adjust for the, I forget what it's called that you deal with, as far as public utilities, and they have a
Ratio.
The state ratio, so we had to adjust for that. But that's just the backup documentation. And then there's a color chart at the very back that shows you how funds are appropriated, how it goes as far as the total budget. And just before the color chart, you can see a summary of the total budget that shows the beginning fund balance all the way to the ending fund balance. And this includes the revenues and expenditures too. So that's kind of an overview of the budget document. And everybody's got it. And if you have questions, you can ask us, and we'll be glad to try to help you understand it.
Robert, I got one question. In your financial management policy, is the grant policy in that financial management in here too?
Did we put I don't think we put the grant policy in.
I think that would be a good thing to add to that. Yeah.
The state required us to have a uniform grant policy, and that's what Mark is talking about. And it tells how we have to administer grants. We can put that in there.
And how it's processed.
Yeah,
All grants have to come to the finance
that's correct.
by state law. If it's not in there, I would like it to be included in that.
We will get that and get it out to everybody.
Yes. Yeah, by state law, the Prop 81 Act.
It's the same as
Because I've had to do my homework since the last commission meeting myself, since I got, pretty whipped up pretty good. And found a lot of inconsistencies all across the board. But I have found that out, that it is any grant that comes through the county, since we're on the Prop 81 Act that the county's under, any grants that comes to the county doesn't go through regular committees, it goes directly to the finance committee because it's all money. Any money issues has to come here first, and if we want to send it to a committee, we can, for it to be looked at.
Well, it comes to this committee too, because it's not just money, it's also a contract, and all contracts have to be signed.
Robert, does the comptroller or somebody else at the state have to approve our policy?
Yes, they did have to approve it. Once we did the UGG policy, we had to send it in to the state. And actually, the financial management policy initially was approved by the comptroller's office before we could actually complete it.
And if you go back to tab 15, and you look on the front page there, you'll see the tax breakout. Proposing to keep the county general at 143, the highways at 9, which we referred to. The general purpose school is 62 as before, general debt service 15, and then the county capital projects is that .0352. Comes out to the very same as the year before. If you look straight down, you'll see those numbers again reflecting the 232.
And also, we used a 5% delinquency rate, which is probably lower than we've had in the past, but this is based on the trends that we're experiencing. We do consider, like there's some appeals that goes into that delinquency rate too, because we've got a lot of appeals out there, as Rhonda can tell you. That's it. The judge is separate from that. They gave him a rate by himself. Okay, so that's why it's 4.1. The 10%, the 10% is because, for instance, clerk and master, circuit court, they have an extra court. So they get 10% for the extra court. Otherwise, you're going to have to hire a clerk and a judge probably for that extra court. Correct. Sheriff gets 10% for having a workhouse, which is not an extra court, but it's an extra set of duties involved.
Which is the same structure we've had for at least the whole time I've been here. We're at the state minimum, so the state dictates the minimum you can pay the full-time elected officials. The employees, the 4% cost of living with the step raise will give them 5 as well, which I think is reasonable, and trending would suggest that 4% is a reasonable expectation of cost of living. I mean, it's certainly higher in some places. I don't know that it's lower anywhere in the country than that, but the 4% is in line with the data if you look online.
And if you look behind that, there's some pages that have explanations that came from the state on different departments.
Now, this, once this body is comfortable with how it's laid out, this needs to go not to the next commission, but to the special call meeting. And we are in session, so once we're through debating and answering questions, then it would be reasonable to make a motion to send this to the special call meeting for action on the 27th.
So I have a question. So, I mean, we just got the books tonight. So
That gives plenty of time.
if somebody has a question or wants to have input in things, how's that going to happen?
Speak.
Well, they can call and ask us the question, our office. They can call the mayor and ask him. They can call the road superintendent or the school superintendent if it's related to them. But we'll do our best to get the information.
Now, if you want to have another finance committee meeting prior to the 27th, you could do that. But if you recommend this package the way it is, we can give them the information, but you would have to change it on the floor.
I would like to have another finance meeting.
Okay.
I just think that's fair.
All right, what day?
And whether call it a study session or just bring your questions and answer them. Because Mayor, I hate to get on the commission floor and then everybody inundate everything and I don't remember what is where.
No,
And
let's
can
have-
it, I just feel like we
Regular
need a group
finance is the
meeting.
25th. So the regular finance is the 25th. So it, well, you could have it that same, I mean, they could come to that session because we'll officially be in, if you,
I think we need to have another session so folks
Okay.
can talk about
yeah, you want to
it.
do it
I
at
mean,
5?
later in the evening, you mean? Okay, yeah.
So have it after the regular finance in June, the 25th is what you're saying?
I would,
At 5?
but I'd put it later in the evening. So folks
What time do you want?
6 p.m., does that work?
Okay.
Okay, I just got a quick question. We're going to try to do it on the 25th, and we got the special call meeting 2 days after that. What if a bunch of stuff comes in and something gets changed? Can
That give you
y'all
time,
change that
Robert?
In a day?
Yeah, we can change it as long as.
You heard it here, Robert said.
And you can also, if you want to change something, you can vote to pass it with that exception. And we can make the change.
Right, the Financial Management Committee will have to make the motion and second to change it or to validate whatever, currently the way it's sitting. If you're going to wait till the 25th at 6, then I don't think you have to do anything except defer it or maybe not even do that. Study it till the next meeting, we'll have it on the agenda.
Yeah, let's say you wanted to change the tax rate. You could say, we're going to pass the budget with this tax rate, and we would make the necessary adjustments for that 27th.
But that still does not preclude if somebody's got a question about something. It's just a simple question.
Call today or tomorrow.
Call Robert, call
tonight.
the mayor,
Right.
call Scott.
And we'll push them the information either way. But it's not being voted on. Is everybody in agreement that we're not voting on it at the regular June commission meeting?
True.
Everybody understands that?
Right.
Okay.
Now, that 27th meeting will also include the amendments for the cleanup that we do every year.
You need a motion on the 25th.
If you're going to do 6, yeah. So,
Motion.
okay. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, so motion
you,
is,
Dr. Gary.
yeah, motion is second to have a special call budget.
What date, the 26th?
No, it's the 20.
25th?
25th.
At 6? right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, don't get me mixed up. Yeah, that's the regular finance committee meeting day anyway, so we'll have our
Still do a little
4,
later.
we'll still have our 4:15 meeting, right? But then we'll come back at 6 or recess till 6 and just
I
like
think
we
that's
would have
fair.
done today. And then vote on the final package that'll go before them on the 27th. Anybody wants information, has questions between now and then, we'll get it to you, send it to you, bring it to you. Yeah, and that's at the commission, on the commission floor.
No, wait. On the 27th, the meeting is at 7. I believe.
Yeah, right. The commission.
Just to clarify.
Yeah, but this be 6 o'clock on the 25th. All right, everybody understand what we're doing? Any other comments or questions before we adjourn? Okay, I don't hear or see any. So